One of the most anticipated features coming to Pokemon Go is without a doubt bottle caps, and recent Datamined info seems to indicate how bottle caps are going to work. And if this all ends up being true, I'm actually really excited about it. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Datamined info for bottle caps and hyper training, and then sharing why this is all looking to be a really good thing for Pokemon Go. Alright, what's happening everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. Alright, so we gotta talk about bottle caps and hyper training. So, bottle caps was something that was recently revealed through Datamined info, and there was a lot of speculation regarding how Niantic would implement this item. Basically, bottle caps were an item in the mainstream games where, if you were to use it on one of your Pokemon, you would be able to increase one of the IV stats or all of them. And this is something that I really felt like was something that Pokemon Go currently needed. I mean, if you think about the history of Pokemon Go and how you get 100% IVs, it's basically a complete RNG based game. If you want to get 100% IVs or a perfect appraisal for a legendary Pokemon, for example, then you need to do a whole bunch of raids of that Pokemon and just hope you get it lucky. And that's basically been the format for how you get some of the best Pokemon in this game. And of course, when it comes to IVs, sometimes it's not always ideal to get 100% of that Pokemon, and this is primarily the case when it comes to PvP. So players have been always wanting some way for you to manipulate the IVs of your Pokemon, and it looks like Niantic is finally going to deliver. And just in time for Scopely Inc. to take over Pokemon Go, it's probably going to be monetized through a battle pass system, which is very similar to what they did with the Lucky Trinket. I think that's the direction that they're going to go, and the reason why I believe that is because of recent Datamined info, which, yeah, let's get into that right now. Alright, so real quick, let's take a look at what was revealed through the Datamined info. So, the Pokémon group actually found a lot of information regarding hyper training, which is a system that's going to allow you to increase the IVs of your Pokemon. So these are some of the details that have been confirmed. The Pokemon must be set as your buddy. You'll need to complete multiple tasks, which is going to be essentially training, and there's going to be a time limit before it expires. And something to keep in mind is that Shadow Pokemon cannot be trained, and that's quite unfortunate, but I can totally understand why they would have that restriction. There are a few other interesting features, including some that seem to focus on PvP, and the data miners are working to find more information as soon as possible. And they also included a couple of screenshots, which I found to be quite interesting. It looks like hyper training already has its own UI, and I think it's all looking to be pretty good. Now, they also found some additional information regarding this hyper training mechanic. It seems like this is going to be very similar to the Lucky Trinket, in that the bottle cap itself is going to expire if you do not use it. You could also target the IVs that you want to train, and you cannot lower a Pokemon's IV, which is actually quite unfortunate for those who like to battle. But there also appears to be a limit to how much of the IVs you can improve with each Pokemon, and it also seems like it could potentially be multiple stat points of that stat, which I personally think is going to be a good thing. And they also found that it's going to be two different versions of the item. There's going to be a single stat increase item, as well as a triple stat increase item, which means there's going to be two versions of these bottle caps. I personally predict that this is all going to be a part of Pokemon Go Fest of this year, very similar to how they introduced the Lucky Trinket with the Wild Area event last year. I think this year we're going to have something similar, but for these bottle cap items. And the way that it seems like it's going to work is that if you were to use these bottle caps on one of your Pokemon, you would engage in hyper training with that Pokemon. And it seems like the only way to engage with hyper training is if you have that Pokemon as your buddy, and you're going to be able to increase the IVs of that Pokemon by doing various tasks. And I think this whole system is looking to be pretty good. In my opinion, there's a lot of things that I wish Niantic did over the years, and one of those things is to improve and iterate on the buddy adventure system. And sure, this is not exactly what I had in mind, but I'm all for it. I really like the fact that they're incorporating the buddy adventure system into the new bottle caps hyper training system. I think it's going to be really good. Now, of course, this is something that we also have to speculate regarding how Niantic is going to allow us to get these bottle cap items. The way that I think it's going to work is that there's going to be a battle pass. That's the best way for them to limit this item so that players cannot just farm them up. And I think the way it's going to be is that there's going to be 2 different versions of bottle caps, which actually was revealed in the code, and one of those is only going to increase one of the stats of your Pokemon, and the other version is going to be the better version, and it's going to increase all 3 of the stats of your Pokemon. And the way that I imagine it's going to go down is that the single-use, single-stat bottle cap is the one that you're going to be able to get for free through the free track of the Battle Pass, and then the premium version, the golden bottle cap, that's the one that you will need to pay for. It's going to be a part of the deluxe track of the Battle Pass. I do think this is the way Niantic is going to implement it, but we really do not know as of this point. All of this Datamined info only reveals how hyper training works, and I do not think there's anything in the code that reveals that this is all going to be a part of some sort of pass mechanic, just like with the Lucky Trinket. But I do think we can speculate that this is exactly how it's going to go down. It's going to be a way for them to monetize this one item. It's definitely going to be one that players will actually want to buy. And then on top of that, it is going to be a way for them to keep the balance of the game as it currently is. I think one of the big concerns that players had with the introduction of bottle caps is that certain Pokemon in their collection are going to lose their value. They're no longer going to be that special because just about everyone is going to be able to get it. And I totally understand that. I mean, I myself have a Shundo Rayquaza. It was actually my very first Shundo. And up until now, not many players that I know of have a Shundo Rayquaza in their collection. But I do predict with the introduction of this item, you're going to see a whole bunch of players suddenly have a Shundo Rayquaza. And I do understand that for people who have this Pokemon, they're going to feel like their Shundo Rayquaza is now completely devalued because everyone is going to have one. And I totally understand that sentiment, but I really do not think it does any harm to you specifically. So yeah, introducing this item is only going to be a net positive in my opinion. I do not think it's going to be problematic. I really like the fact that they're going to be limiting it behind battle passes, at least that's what we can speculate, so that way it's not going to be abundant. It's not going to be something that everyone is going to have access to. And I think that's the right way to go. I mean, just imagine if this was an item you could just buy off the Pokeshop. That means pretty much only the whales are going to have access to all of the best Pokemon, and I really do not like that model at all. But at this point, it's going to be something that is essentially optional. You do not necessarily have to get it, but for those who do end up getting it, it's only going to be 1 or 2 of their Pokemon at a time. And I think that's totally okay. Because imagine if they were to make it completely abundant, maybe as a rare raid drop or something like that, then pretty much every single one of the Pokemon in your collection can potentially be a hundo. And that's something I just do not feel okay with. So yeah, I think this is all looking pretty good. Again, I really like the fact that they're incorporating the Buddy Adventure system, and they're going to be keeping these items quite rare by having them as some sort of pass mechanic. But again, it could be a chance that they are going to release it as a rare raid drop. I really do not know. That's something that some players were hoping for with the Lucky Trinket, but as it turns out, it was a deluxe pass item. So I do not suspect they're going to have it as a rare raid drop. I just think that's going to be too broken, and it's going to take away a little bit too much from the game that I think a lot of players will end up finding the game to be just completely pointless. They're not going to raid as much anymore. They're not going to care about it as much anymore because essentially all you have to do is be one and done, and then all you have to do is try to get your hands on these items, and you do not necessarily have to raid for the RNG aspect of it anymore. So I don't think Niantic is going to go that way. I don't think Scopely Inc. would want Niantic to go that way before they take over. I think this is all going to be just a part of some sort of tour pass, and it's going to be a way for you to get some value out of those tour passes. It's going to be a way for them to reel you in, essentially. It's a carrot on a stick. So yeah, that's the way I think it's going to go down. But in terms of how hyper training works, I really like the way that they are implementing it. Again, this Datamined info, it's all looking pretty good. I love the idea of them just doing a lot more with this. Maybe the tasks are going to involve doing a whole bunch of raids, doing a whole bunch of PvP battles, different things like that. I think that's probably one of the best ways to get some engagement out of not just the Buddy Adventure system, but just the game in general. It's going to be something that a lot of players will actually care about, and it's going to be something that they will actually engage with. and I'm all for that. I think this game needs a lot more stuff like that, a lot more ways for you to interact with your own Pokemon, and a lot more ways for you to feel rewarded for doing some of these menial daily tasks. And yeah, this is a great way for them to do that. So yeah, this is all looking like exciting stuff. I'm really excited about all of this. I think hyper training and bottle caps are going to be a great addition to Pokemon Go, and I'm really looking forward to them getting implemented into the game. Yeah, it's going to be a really good time. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about down below. Are you excited about bottle caps? Are you feeling like this is going to be a net positive for the game? Or are you completely against the implementation of these items? Definitely share your thoughts in the comments down below, and let's have a great discussion. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget the notification bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to every single one of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the absolute best way you could do that is going to be by joining my Patreon. If you decide to become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to add you to my Pokemon Go friends list, and that means for stuff like remote raids and the friendship system, like opening and sending gifts. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me and interact with me on a daily basis, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, then make sure you go and follow me on social media. I'm on the platforms that you see on the bottom of your screen, and my handle is @Jinsula. Make sure to go over there and give me a follow, and you'll have access to some exclusive content. And with all that said, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you all later.
진솔아와 함께해